I'm Tom. We have just had news. Dubois versus Parker is officially off. It's officially off. Dubois has got really ill. First, Floyd Schofield, and now Daniel Dubois. I don't know what's going on in Saudi Arabia, people, but bring your own Caesar salads because whatever's in their food is making people poorly. And no, but on a more serious note, right? Only on the Riyadh season would you have a world title fight in the heavyweight division in the form of Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker get cancelled with 2 days to go, and the replacement fight is arguably better. Only the Riyadh season, Martin Bakole, for those of you that don't know, has now been confirmed to take the place. There was a few hours when we weren't sure what was going to happen. We weren't sure if Dubois was going to be able to fight or if he was going to be ruled poorly and someone else have to step in. There was a while we weren't sure what was going to happen, but we had a few names being rumoured. Martin Bakole wasn't one of them. Wishful thinking was saying AJ would step in. He'll be in Saudi Arabia anyway. Of course, it wasn't what happened. Martin Bakole, meant to fight Efe Ajagba. Efe Ajagba, by the way, was sitting there thinking he probably is going to be lined up to face, now not Martin Bakole. He'll probably face Daniel Dubois in a few months. So he'll be sitting there thinking, I'm now going to get a world title shot off the back of Dubois being ill. So he'll be happy. Bakole stepping in there on the biggest card perhaps ever. It's now taking a hit. Dubois off and Floyd Schofield's off. But you've got still a monstrous card. He's stepping in. And you've got arguably a bigger fight than the one that's been cancelled. Only Riyadh season would that happen. We are spoiled. But with that said, let's actually talk about this. If I'm Joseph Parker, I mean, wow, taking this fight on this short notice. I think Bakole's better than Zhang. I think Bakole's better than Zhang. You had a full camp for Zhang and still nearly got knocked out. You've not got that. You're fighting Bakole when you spent the full camp preparing for somebody else, regardless of any similarities, and you're fighting him on 2 days' notice. You just got to hope Bakole's extremely out of shape. What a fight this is. I mean, this is huge, not just for how short notice it is and any of this. It's just a massive fight. And I do feel for Joseph Parker because you're fighting a hell of a contender on very short notice. You were expecting to have a world title shot. That's what you were expecting to have here, let's be honest. You were expecting to have a world title shot. And now you're not. And this throws a spanner in the works for Usyk. This throws a spanner in the works for Dubois, for AJ, for everyone across the whole division. Because everyone's waiting to see who wins this. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. I don't know why Dubois chose Parker, and I said that when it happened. And now this has happened. But let's just actually look at this. Level playing field. Let's look at this with Bakole and Dubois. Similarities. Aggressive, front foot, hard hitters. Good boxing skills. Good boxing skills. Bakole's got fairly quick speed. Bakole's got, from what we see, a chin. I actually think for Parker, this is probably a harder fight because he hasn't prepared for Bakole. He's prepared for Dubois. So because he hasn't prepared for Bakole, I think this is perhaps a harder fight. So it's going to be really interesting to see how things go now. For Bakole, you've just got to hope that Sparzilla can reenact. You're not just a sparring guy. You can do it in the actual big fights. Because if you beat Parker, your name's already up there. But if you beat Parker, your name skyrockets. You are now really in the mix. So if you're Bakole, you got to hope that you can put what you've been saying, all the angles we've been pushing with the media, with the YouTubers and whatever it is in the interviews, put all that into action and beat a Joseph Parker. How do I see the fight going? Now look, Parker's not prepared for Bakole, but the fact is Parker's had a very long, 3-month camp preparing for a world title fight. I don't necessarily, when you're in the amateurs, when you're in the Olympics, whatever it is, in early doors as a pro, you haven't got heaps of tape to prepare for specific fighters. You just prepare so you're the best you can be and you can beat anyone. I think there's a lot of truth behind that. I think really anyone should be, if you're as good as you think, Usyk can just have a camp and prepare for anyone. And then no matter who he fights, he'll beat them. He doesn't necessarily need to specifically train for one person. He just needs to make sure he's at the peak of his game. And I think that's what we should really be saying. Parker, with 3 months to prepare for this, it doesn't really matter who you're in there with. If you're, Byron Usyk, maybe a Fury, and obviously Dubois, Bakole, you should be able to beat them. You know what I mean? And that's where I think we are. So I think really we should be seeing a very good Parker stepping in the ring. And I think we will be. I think we will be seeing a very good Parker stepping into the ring. For that reason, I do think Parker will beat Bakole. I think Bakole's a harder fight than Zhang. And I think Bakole's arguably harder than Dubois. I think he can really whack. I think he's really, it doesn't really matter what you're throwing back. He will just pressure you. But I think we've not seen him in there with somebody that can really fight like Parker can, that can box like Parker can. Parker's deceivingly fleet-footed, deceivingly fast, got really quick hands, but he's also actually quite big. So he's got a chin, he can take a punch. So I think we'll see Parker go the distance. He might stop Bakole late because Bakole's not had a camp, but we might see it go the difference. My initial prediction when this is first announced, Parker on points. I think Parker will win this on points, potentially stopping him after around 10 to 12. That's my prediction. Parker win between 10 to 12 or on points. People don't know your thoughts. What do you think about this late replacement? Will you still be buying the card? Is it as good as a card as what it was? Your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe on how YouTube works, people. Peace.